Most visitors are drawn to this painting for the luminous color, the bold detail, and the scale. I really love this work for what it represents and sort of what it's meant to me in my work on rethinking and displaying MoMA's collection. This is Tree of Paradise, made in 1928 by Seraphine Lewis. My name is Heidi Herschel-Orley, and I'm the Assistant Director for Curatorial Affairs. I really distinctly remember going to view this work in our storage with various colleagues at the time of planning for our reopening, and the object was incredibly dark, and what was super clear was that the work had never been treated. And most paintings from this time period have had at least some form of surface cleaning, but in this case, the work by a female, self-taught, relatively unknown artist didn't have that. And so what we realized was this was such a priority for us to engage in a very, very large conservation effort in advance of displaying the painting. So we have an amazing conservation team, and one fellow in particular, Deanna Hartman, really became the resident expert in Seraphine. And I remember hearing about her experience. It was so amazing to think that the dirt that she was cleaning off this canvas had literally been there since the time it was made. And she talked about the soot from the candlelight that Seraphine would use. The sort of rumor is that Seraphine would paint on the floor and really experiment with her materials. So in addition to sort of regular paint, she would mix varnish, she would mix mud, she would mix the wax from the candlelight itself. And so, I think part of that 6 months was that every single leaf was created with sort of a different material. Seraphine was a really religious woman who worked as a domestic worker in a convent before becoming a housekeeper, all the while painting alongside those jobs. And she was taken with floral motifs and took a lot of inspiration from church windows, and the stained glass sort of lattice patterning is something you can really see here in the leaves of Trees of Paradise. She often painted these motifs on household objects, but she also had canvases and boards, and really began to develop her own language. The German critic and collector Wilhelm Ude, who was sort of famous as an early patron of Braque and Picasso and ended up popularizing Rousseau, discovered Seraphine while he was traveling in the French countryside, and he started to buy up many of her works and also provide her with artist materials. Not this painting in particular, but Seraphine herself was actually included in a 1938 MoMA exhibition, Masters of Popular Painting, which serves as sort of the kernel for the gallery that the work is in. And many of the artists and objects that are seen alongside this painting were actually in that original exhibition. And I think another really important thing with our expansion has been the space we've carved out to explore our own history and our own collection and the different stories we can tell. So this work has been on view since we reopened in 2019, but actually this gallery and its neighbors have rotated nearly every 6 months. And so I think that really speaks again to the depth of our collection in this type of material, and also the new context for Paradise itself.